I'm more Munster than Leinster. But,
we know that.
Yeah, for sure.
And at one of your toughest moments, Declan, where you've had to really dig deep and get yourself through.
Yeah.
Can you describe one of those? Or times in your life when things haven't been... I mean, everybody look at you now and say, well, nobody could have problems. He's look at how successful. Yeah. But we've all had dark moments where...
I think I mentioned it before. I suffer from depression. Mm-hmm. I talk about it a lot. There'll be members in my family, some gone, some around, who would say, you shouldn't. I don't think Tony would be upset me telling the story. When I had to go stay with him with my first episode, and I was in a bad way. And I got the John Wayne talk, pull up your socks and how would you be if one of the kids was in hospital and so on. And to be fair to him, I stayed with him for a couple of weeks. And to be fair to him, like about 6 days, he came back to me and said, I'm really sorry. I just didn't realize what it's like. To be fair to him, he rang about 3 or 4 of his medical pals, in particular his GP, who was a lovely guy in London. And, the guy just said, Tony, you're just not understanding. So depression's hard.
And you knew you had that for a while, did you? Or did you not know it?
I didn't. There was kind of, when I look back, there was kind of inklings of it when I was around 19 and 20, but I don't want to go into the circumstances too much. No. Absolutely. But when it really hit me, I don't think he'll mind me saying this, but Alexis Fitzgerald, who set up McCann's Fitzgerald, who was regarded as one of the legal brains at the time, was involved with a lot of legislation and so on. He used to say when he was depressed that washing his teeth was an achievement. So there is days where, you don't shave, and that's probably the toughest thing I've ever faced, yeah.
And what's the help you get over just talking about it and being out in the open, accepting it?
So there's no silver bullet for me.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I learned, and this was in therapy, is that not to be afraid of it anymore. It's just, it's coming.
You can't feel it coming on.
I can feel it coming on, and you're always going like, go back to the train. You're always trying to stick the bloody brakes on. Yeah. So for me, it's a pile of different things, from talking about it right through to last year, first time ever. The kids were laughing at me. I got a scan in New York of my brain, which, when you think about it, we do it for our leg.
Yeah, why not your brain?
Yeah, and they were able to show, like, it's not available in Europe. All right, might be in Germany, but it's not available. And the lady who was doing said there's a pile of pockets where oxygen wasn't getting into the brain enough, and they were able to, suggest certain things about that and so on. So I think what happens when you get into an episode, you climb like BJ's to get out of it. But I read. Churchill used to build brick walls. Yeah, I'm not comparing.
You do a lot more exercise. You got very exercise for that.
Yeah. But I get what Churchill was doing. Like, I think if it was happening tomorrow, Rossa, I'd go off and do the Camino. I know that sounds like you don't have the energy to, but yeah. Anyway, and there's a lot of people out there have it and so on.
But it's funny, our cultural thing is, as you say, is a lot of it about, but the way we deal with culturally sad occasions and funerals and wakes. We have a way of dealing with certain things we can identify physically. Yeah. With the mental things, we've been slow at getting our heads around.
The expression, he's gone to the bed, right?
Yeah, it was the old.
So what it really was somebody having dark time in their life, a low time in their life. Yeah. And the woman in the house didn't want the person in the kitchen. She was too busy. So that's why you went to the bed. But I like to think the Irish are getting better at talking about it and so on.
Because culturally, we weren't great either.
Yeah.
There was kind
of... And you probably know it, and you see it now. And I love Alan Quinlan's and the Cusacks and everybody, the boxers talking about it and so on. Like, if Quinny or Andy Lee or any, if it's not Andy, or any of them come out and say, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and women have come out about it a lot, that really helps. Yeah,
it's great to see. And high moments in your life, any... we tend to look at life as extremes, and most days are somewhere
I don't want to
between.
get all gooey, but that's real Irish, isn't it?
But do it. Go get gooey.
Okay, I'll go for it. Anna, my daughter, we adopted her from Vietnam when she was 5 months old. She's been back she's now 25 in London. Really amazing person and lady. Last year, she asked to go back to the centre, Christina Noble's. All right. We're getting too PC. We can't call them orphanages anymore. Yeah. But she'd been to Vietnam loads of times, but she never asked to go back. So you'll love this. So that was a golden moment. I called it the circle of life.
And she just wanted to.
Yeah, and she said, Dad, would you bring me back?
Yeah.
Right, which is lovely, and her boyfriend and so on. So you'll love this. We're in this we're in this place in Saigon. I love the word Saigon rather than Ho Chi Minh. We're in Saigon, and we're in the old the place we adopted Anna from, and she's like Princess Di, like about 5 kids hanging out of her, and she's playing with them. And so, who's crying out in the balcony? But Boyzo in here, right? Yeah. But it was kind of like my All Ireland. It was like just to be able to. And what happened is all the emotions came out because she's 25 and she's safe and she's cool. And, you know, her boyfriend, who's lovely, Sasha, said to her at dinner the night before, what's it like being in a place where everybody looks like you?
Yeah.
And by the way, I love the question. You know, Anna thought I'd be a bit upset. I said, no, brilliant question. So, you know, even that in her head, you know, it was like, but it was magical, you know, and she is a big heart. I could see her doing other stuff herself and so.
And philanthropy is your way of life.
Hate that word.
We've got to find words we could use.
Yeah. I tell you, I don't know if I sent it. I normally bug you about 4 times a night with my stupid emails and stuff. Most of them.
They're never stupid.
Yeah, okay. Most of them are out of affection, and most of them are out of because I know you love reading and so on. There was a lovely obituary about the Aga Khan recently, and he. I don't want to compare myself because he had a lot more shekels than I did. And he was more religious than I was. But anyway, he hated the word philanthropy, and he said it was just a social responsibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah, listen, that's great. Love doing it. The One Foundation's amazing, Rossa.
And is that the beauty of shekels?
Yeah.
The freedom it gives you to do things?
Yeah.
But does it change your life every day? You still have to have breakfast and make a lunch?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I got rid of a car during the weekend, and I was so delighted because we had too many of them at home. And, you know, they're saying to me at home, why are you so happy? I said, well, we didn't need that.
Yeah.
Listen, I keep saying it, Rossa, like, you have...
Like, I always remember as a young fella meeting your father, and your father was accumulated, the wealth was important to him.
Yeah.
And you're kind of different in the way you've reached a stage in your life.
Well, I think it's a different generation. Like, you know, I'm not trying to be funny here, but I used to call it Tony's ashes, right? To get up his nose. But you know, he came from a council house in Limerick Junction, and he was the eldest.
Freedom in the bed.
Yeah. The top drawer. You remember the story Kel used to tell?
Top drawer,
Yeah. But it was a great comment. But I think so. Let's put it this way: we were certainly middle class. Maybe middle class, but it doesn't matter, right? Erlingus kids. I think it's easier to give money away when you've had that bit of security. I totally understand people, and by the way, philanthropy or responsibility is nothing anybody should lecture people about. Either you do it or you don't, right? So I don't want to come across. But like I think if you grow up and you didn't have it, you kind of go like this. You kind of hoard it, right? Yeah. I think if you're different, or you came from a kind of more secure background where there wasn't worries about money every day of the week, I think it's easier. I put it differently, Rossa. Like one of my kids' birthday was during the week, and he's a serious marathon runner. I aced his present because what I did is I got all this Strava, the information about the run. Like he's qualified for Boston and so on. But I got all his information. We designed a running journal for him.
Right.
So the lovely
progress.
Yeah. No, it's like a hardback journal. Yeah. But the beauty about this is because of Strava, I was able to put it in chronological order and all the races that he's done. And he said, "What was in your head, Dad?" And I said, "I had this image of you with one of your sons, and he's on your lap, and you're going through it." And he said, "Well, what?" He said, "You're going to say to your sons, I was fast once." So when you get a present right.
Absolutely.
So I think social responsibilities like that as well.
But you're more balanced in the way you look at things, aren't you? As a human being, because you were I remember when you were a businessman, you were the businessman that Shane was too young.
I was Jack
Carl
Russell.
was not viewed as a go-getter. Yeah. You were Jack Russell. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. But,
a very polite one.
No. By the way, and I love Jack Russell's as dog because they're always on for crack. But but there was 2 Rottweilers ahead of me, So.
And when you read this quote, I'm going to say something from Edna O'Brien. She says, when anyone asks me about the Irish character, I say, look at the trees, maimed, stark and misshapen, but ferociously tenacious. Does that sound like something you can relate to?
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
She was amazing, wasn't she?
She was. Stunning, looking, talking, and very brave. Some of the things she said.
And, was it Gerber, wasn't it, the husband?
Yeah.
He just couldn't handle that she was a better writer.
Yeah.
But she's beautiful. Have you seen the new movie?
No.
Yeah, I hear everybody raves about it. I saw her once live in Dunleary, and it was kind of like an evening with Edna. By the way, she's probably in her 70s at the time. But just...
My father was lovely.